Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. In all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. It all depends on how we look at things, and not how they are in themselves. Children are educated by what the grown-up is and not by his talk. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. Often the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. Neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. We deem those happy who from the experience of life have learned to bear its ills without being overcome by them. Resistance to the organized mass can be effected only by the man who is as well organized in his individuality as the mass itself. A particularly beautiful woman is a source of terror. As a rule, a beautiful woman is a terrible disappointment. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. The word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol or morphine or idealism. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved but only outgrown. Man needs difficulties. They are necessary for health. A human being would certainly not grow to be 70 or 80 years old if this longevity had no meaning for the species. The afternoon of human life must also have a significance of its own and cannot be merely a pitiful appendage to life's morning. Show me a sane man and I will cure him for you. It is a fact that cannot be denied. The wickedness of others becomes our own wickedness because it kindles something evil in our own hearts. Shrinking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal which robs the second half of life of its purpose. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. The pendulum of the mind alternates between sense and nonsense. not between right and wrong. There is no such thing as a pure introvert or extrovert. Such a person would be in the lunatic asylum. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. Nobody, as long as he moves about among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. Who has fully realized that history is not contained in thick books but lives in our very blood? Man's task is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. Masses are always breeding grounds of psychic epidemics. The debt we owe to the play of imagination is incalculable. We should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect. The judgment of the intellect is only part of the truth. All the works of man have their origin in creative fantasy. What right have we then to depreciate imagination? Follow that will and that way which experience confirms to be your own. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Midlife is the time to let go of an over-dominant ego and to contemplate the deeper significance of human existence. We are born at a given moment, in a given place, and like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. Man cannot stand a meaningless life. Where your fear is, there is your task. Don't hold on to someone who's leaving, otherwise you won't meet the one who's coming. What did you do as a child that made the hours pass like minutes? Herein lies the key to your earthly pursuits. Depression is like a woman in black. If she turns up, don't shoo her away. Invite her in, offer her a seat, treat her like a guest and listen to what she wants to say. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. As any change must begin somewhere, it is the single individual who will undergo it and carry it through. The change must begin with one individual. It might be any one of us. Nobody can afford to look around and to wait for somebody else to do what he is loath to do himself. The wine of youth does not always clear with advancing years, sometimes it grows turbid. A scream is always just that, a noise and not music. One day you will regret you did not hear these quotes earlier. Do not lose the opportunity. Watch our next video. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Daily Dose.